Hey everyone, it's Sarah from sarahandcreations.blogspot.com. I am back with another DIY wedding series video for you. And today I wanted to go over how I made my bridal bouquet and the boutonnieres that all of the men in the wedding wore. As a side note, first of all, I just want to mention is I actually created two bouquets for my wedding. The first one was a light red with goldish tones, and we ended up not going in that direction with those colors, so I had to at last minute come up with something new because I changed my mind at the very last minute. That's how women are. So I still want to share the photo of the bouquet that I made originally, so I'm going to go ahead and show the photo now. And this bouquet took forever to make. It was definitely a labor of love. The flowers are actually called French beaded flowers. And when you make these, you have to make each and every petal and then put them together to form a flower. This bouquet took me about a month's worth of time and labor, literally doing it every single day with no breaks. And so it was really sad that I never used it. I probably could have, but I really wanted everything to match. So I went with something else, and that's what I'm going to share with you today and how to put those together. Let me start by showing you my bouquet. Now I think my camera might be a little too zoomed in for the details, but I can kind of give you a little overview. This is what it looked like, and I will definitely, I will put in a picture so that you can see what it looks like without it being so close to the camera. So I'll definitely put a picture in. This is what it looked like. It had black satin ribbon holding it all together. And then these are all fabric roses, and these are what I'll be showing you today. I'm just going to be showing you the basic one, so that you can get an idea and make your own spin on what you want to do for your own wedding or your own event. And each one of these has like different centers. So this one has this little gem. They're almost like Swarovskis, but they're not. They actually came from Hobby Lobby, and they're in the Brilliance collection. And they're just as sparkly, and they're gorgeous. And then there's like 3 of these like almost gunmetal pearl, and these are in the Brilliance collection as well. And then here, I put together 6 little clear, almost Swarovski beads, and then this little black looking Swarovski bead. And that's what I did for different centers. And each of the flowers are different sizes. So the ones with these centers are the smallest. The ones with these centers are the next size up, and then these are the largest. And since there's no leaves on my bouquet, you could get faux leaves and just stick them in. But I actually just use this ribbon. It's also from Hobby Lobby. I'm not 100% sure what it's called. I didn't have any left of this. But it almost has a two-tone effect, and it's a little shinier, and it actually catches the light really well, and we had an outdoor wedding, so it really looked nice. And let me go ahead and show you one of the boutonnieres. Here is one of the boutonnieres that I made. I don't think this one actually got worn, and I think all the men took theirs home. So, other than my husband, his is in our wedding album that I made. But this is pretty much what the gentleman had, except theirs didn't have black. All of theirs were just red. And then my husband had black on the back of his. But then I just added some of the ribbon, just folded in half in the back, and then it made it look like a flower with some leaves on the side. So, if you want to learn how to make this, stay with me. Okay, so first of all, you're going to want to find some fabric. And this is the fabric I chose. I'm really sorry, I don't remember the name of it. I know that I did purchase it at Joann Fabrics. And it's almost like this satin, and then it has like a rough inside. But one thing I want you to remember is if you're going to do this, make sure that your fabric is 100% polyester. Because in order to create these gorgeous little petal effect, you have to melt the edges of the fabric. And you can only do that with polyester. So just make sure that whatever fabric you choose is polyester, and it should work. So once you've chosen the fabric that you want, you have to create some templates. So each layer of the flower is actually a circle. So I came up with a small, a medium, a large, an extra large, and an extra extra large. The extra extra large was only used in my bouquet. It wasn't used in any of the boutonnieres. So I'll just put that one to the side since we won't be using that. But these are pretty much the main ones that I used. And how I created these templates is I first took a piece of paper like this. This is 4.5 by 4.5. It doesn't really matter what size you start off with. Just make sure that the piece of paper is square and that it's larger than the circle that you want in the end. So what you start with is the piece of paper, and you fold it corner to corner, and then you're going to take this corner and you're going to fold it to the opposite corner. Then you're going to do that one more time. Fold it to the opposite corner. Then, what I did is I started with the smallest circle that I wanted. Now, I didn't do any specific measurements. I just kind of cut and then went up from there. But you can if you want. Now, to make this a better circle, you could always take a penny or a quarter or whatever round object you would like to use, and you could place it against here, draw a line, and then cut. But I'm just going to freehand it. It's probably not going to look like a circle, but I'll just freehand it. So let's say I want to make a small one, and I'm just going to go around. I'm going to open it up. It's not really a circle, but you get the idea. So you're just going to make your circles, and you're going to do a lot better job than I did. And once you have determined that that's going to be a small circle, you're going to take your smallest circle, and you're going to put it to the edge, and you're going to make it just a little bit larger than the smaller one. So we'll do it about here, and you're just going to follow this outside edge. Just about, I don't know, you could make it 1/4 inch larger or less if you want. Then you're going to put that to the side, and you're going to have your medium circle. And then you're just going to keep doing that until you reach the largest size that you want. So here are my original ones. Small, medium, and then the larger ones. But we'll do the small today. And we'll take the fabric. And what I actually did with all of my templates is I made 4 of each so that on my larger piece of fabric I could pin several of them down and then cut them all out at one time, which was a lot less time consuming. So if you're going to be making a lot of them, that's the way to go. So we're just going to put this down, and what I did is I actually pin these to the fabric, because since this fabric is pretty slick, it has a tendency of like moving around when I don't want it to. And so by pinning it, you can actually avoid it moving around, and you can get a better circle shape when you're cutting it out. And right now I'm only going to use 3 pins, but on the larger one you might want to use some more, just so that it stays in place. So here's my small circle, and now I'm just going to take some fabric scissors and just trim around it. And remember, when you're trimming around this, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect, especially since you're going to be singeing the edges and they're going to curl anyway, so you're not going to really notice if there's like a little mess up. So then you unpin it and you have your 2 little pieces. I like to cut 2 out at a time. It just is less time consuming. So once you have those cut out, you would then take your scissors and you're going to cut 5 slits into your circles. Now, you don't want them to go all the way in, or there's a possibility of it reaching the other side and tearing. So all you're going to do on this one, I'm only going to do about maybe a 1/2 inch in. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Sorry if you hear my puppy in the background. She's growling at someone outside. So then you have your 5 little petals. And this is where the fire comes in. So let me grab my candle. Go ahead and light it. Okay. Now, in order to singe the edges, what you're going to do is, I have these little hors d'oeuvre tongs that I just had in my kitchen, and I thought they'd come in handy. So, when you have a piece of fabric, especially this one, for my flowers, I wanted the pretty satin side up. So when people saw it on the lapel or in my bouquet, it kind of glistened in the light. So you want to actually flip it over and have the satin side facing down, because when it's facing down, it'll tend to curl down when you put it over the flame. So you're just going to place it in here like this, and I'm going to try and go fairly slowly so that you can see this, but you're going to take it like this, and you're going to do 1 pass over and then go back. And then the second time when you're going back, that's when it curls. So you get these perfect little curls, if you can see that. So you get these perfect little curls, and that's all you do for the entire thing. So you go over and back. Now don't stick the fabric in the flame or it will burn. It will catch on fire. See that little smoke? It caught on fire a bit. You don't want it to catch on fire. And the reason why I use these tongs is it gets really, really hot. So just be careful of your fingers. And there's your 5 petals. And what I do is in these little slits, they can unravel. So I just take it and I just run the heat in there really fast. just enough so that it singes the edges and it won't come unraveled. This part can get really hot too. So, be quick. One more. There you go. And that's how you do it. Now I'll just go over one more time how you singe the edges. Grab this, go over once, and back the second time, and it curls. Let's do it again. Over once, and back, and then it curls. Just like that. Over and back. And there you go. All done. And then you would just repeat like you did the last time. So, once your flowers are done, you want to go ahead and start assembling your flower. Now, I just wanted to show you the different sizes real quick. So here's the small, here's a medium, here's a large, here's an extra large, and here's an extra extra large. Now I only made the extra larges and the extra extra larges in the black. The rest were done in red. So for this particular flower, we're not going to need these, but we are going to need a small, 2 mediums, and a large. This was for the majority of the flowers that I made. These were actually the boutonnieres for all the guys. Not for my husband, but for his best man, the ring bearer, things like that. So for the sake of the video, I've already attached my center to my smallest petal. You can attach whatever you want. It could be a button, it could be a pearl, it could be a Swarovski crystal, it could be anything. But what I actually did is I sewed all of them onto my petals. And I chose to sew it onto the smallest and then build the flower so that it would hide any of the ugliness back here. And plus, once the hot glue is on here, it actually provides somewhat of support for your flower and holds the center pretty solid so it doesn't flop around. So, let's go ahead and build the flower. What I start off by doing is I take the largest one and I'm going to put a little bit of glue. Sorry about how loud it is. And I'm going to take one of the medium ones and I'm going to try and offset the petals a bit. If you're not sure what I mean by offsetting, see how these two big petals are here? I want to put like a petal in between so it kind of fills in those gaps. And you're going to do the same thing for each and every layer. So I'm going to put another dot of glue. Offset this one as well. I'm going to just smush it down. And then you're going to take your final petal, which is your smallest one. You're going to do the exact same thing. And once again, you're going to offset them. And try and make sure that your little embellishment in the center is in the glue, so that it holds it more steady. And there's the flower. It was that easy. Yes, when you're making a ton of them, it takes a while, but if you do them in each step, like cut all your flowers first, then put slits in all your flowers, then melt the edges of all your flowers. If you do that in each step, it goes a lot quicker. So there's the finished flower. Now for making a boutonniere, what I did is I just folded some of that ribbon and I just kind of crinkled the ends so it kind of gave it a little more shape. And I just hot glued it to the back of the flower. And then I took a piece of felt that I just cut into a round shape. Make sure it's smaller than the flower itself. And then you just hot glue that to the back and you're done with the boutonniere. So that would be one down. Now, if you're going to be making a bouquet, like this one, you need some wires. If you can see in there at all, there are floral wires in there. Now, it doesn't have to look pretty inside at all because nobody's going to see it. But what you're going to need is some floral wire. And I just purchased this from Hobby Lobby. It's 70 pieces for $2.99. I actually used the 18 gauge just to give it some more stability. And since those are 18 inches long, I just cut them in half. And this is how you would put together a flower onto the stem. What I did is I started to form a little spiral, like so. And you just keep going until it's the size you'd like. And see, it's kind of stiff, so some elbow grease works. Like so. And I would probably put a little bit more time and effort into this if I was making it again for my bouquet. But, once you have it in a spiral, then you're going to bend up the end. And you're going to bend this down and put it through this little hole. So, you're going to bend this down through, and you're going to pull it. It's not going to look pretty, but it will do its job. And you're going to have to fiddle with it some. This is probably like one of the most time-consuming parts. And that's what it ended up looking like. Now, this isn't going to show whatsoever in your bouquet. So, this isn't going to show, this isn't going to show. You're just going to see the pretty flowers on the outside. So, once you have this little base, you're going to then poke a little hole into the center of your felt, about center. And then you're going to push this right through, like that. And what I would do is I'd put a little hot glue around here. Just to make sure it's secure. I'm going to pull it down. Be careful, it's very hot. And it doesn't have to be 100% center because you're going to attach it to something. But I am not going to attach it to this one because I can use this on something else, like a card or a canvas or something. So, but what you would do, you would then flip this over and put a bunch of hot glue on here. And then you're going to stick it right to your flower. And you're going to let it just get cold and harden up. And then you will have a flower like this. And what's great about it is once you have the flower up here, you can bend this wherever you want it to go. You can turn it. So it helps to have it on this wire so that you can put it in any position that you need to in your bouquet. You wouldn't be able to do that with a normal flower. It would probably break. So that's just how you make these. It's really simple. Once you get all the steps needed and you get them done, putting them together is easy. Now I know this tutorial probably wasn't the best, but if you have any questions about how to put these together or where I purchase things, just let me know. I'm more than happy to answer questions, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks for watching. Bye.